Welcome everybody to another episode of Growing Up Kayfabe. We are the YEET and No YEET of Wrestling podcast, the Yes and No of Wrestling podcast. Here again to bring you back to another week of wrestling coverage from Monday to Friday. As you know now, we only cover Monday and Friday in these episodes, and Tuesday NXT is its own singular episode. Go check that out on the same channel here, NXT Gen. That's what we're calling it for now. Episode 1 is already out. Come back next week, get all your info you need on NXT. While I have you right here, please like the video, comment down below, share out to a wrestling friend or family member in your life. All helps out just getting this channel out there. That's all I really want. Just talk wrestling with everybody. So please comment down below, like I said, talk wrestling with me. And let's get into Monday and Friday of wrestling, the build to SummerSlam. Okay, so Monday was notoriously, Tuesday morning I wake up and it's all the wrestling feeds on TikTok and YouTube. Let me tell you why Monday was the worst episode of Monday Night Raw. WWE has put out the worst Monday Night Raw in years, and here's why. I I thought it was bad. I'm going to be real with you. I thought it was a pretty bad episode. There was so many things that went on that made me go I'm sitting here at my computer watching, and I'm just so many times. And I would say in the past few months, I have not received this in a while, where I had one of my friends message me middle of a segment, which we're going to talk about later, asking me, what am I seeing on my screen here right now? And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I don't know. I really don't know. But let's start off with the beginning of Raw, which starts off with the build for Brock and Oba. They start by lowering the Hell in the Cell down. Triple H is out there. Adam Pearce is out there. They're gonna do a weigh-in, because it's what we've always done for Hell in the Cells, and because our fan base, they're super jacked about that. They love knowing how much everybody weighs. The only time any of us has ever cared about whatever a superstar has actually weighed was back when they were exaggerating that shit, and they'd be like, Big Show, and he weighs 750 pounds. Or what I really used to like is when they would say the collective weight of the tag teams at a combined weight of, because it'd be pointless. You'd be like, why does that matter? Why does it matter that together they weigh 550 pounds? Yeah, it's math. But anyway, I digress. Nobody gives a shit about the weigh-in. They've already had 2 fights. Why we didn't weigh them in then? So this segment genuinely came out of nowhere and made 0 sense. They lower the cage down. Oba comes out. You let him into the cage. He weighs in. And then Brock comes out. So this is where the segment gets even more dumb, because Brock comes out just to simply lock him in the cage. And then after he locks him in the cage, he lets him know, Paul lets everybody know, no, Brock doesn't have to weigh in. He weighed in the back, and he weighed in 1 pound over Oba. Okay, so you just put that again. If we're taking away of if unless you want me to pretend to be a literal child, taking that away, okay, so you just told me that this segment means nothing. Because he didn't weigh Brock. You just told us he weighed 1 more than Oba, which, how is that even, the likelihood of that is, it's 1 in a trillion. There's that it would just randomly come out that way. And also, they missed a huge opportunity. What I was looking forward to with this is I thought Brock was going to come out like how he did in UFC. If anybody watched Brock in UFC, the greatest thing about the Brock weighing in and the heavyweights weighing in general is that nowadays most of them still come in and they, take all their stuff off and whatnot. But Brock should just come in a suit and just stand on the scales, because the way, the max is 285 or something like that. And he would just, he weighs 260 something, and he would just be like, yeah, I'm not doing all that. That's stupid. And I thought they were going to do that. I expected Brock to come down in a suit and just step on the scale and be like, yeah, just like how I used to do it, baby. Let's go. But no, instead we get this weird thing. Locks him in there. We don't have to do this. My biggest gripe from this is I just watched y'all lower the cage, and the cage has to get risen at some point. So why are we pretending Oba, how's Oba gonna get out of there? He's stuck in there, man. This is gonna be a tough one for Oba, man. Brock really got one up on him just to have again, just so once the cuts to commercial, are we gonna all pretend we don't know it? It feels like this segment was genuinely made for children. I feel only small child would be wow, Oba stuck in there till SummerSlam. It just didn't really make any sense. There was no reality to it. It all was just too much kayfabe. You really, really, really wanted me to believe that Oba was stuck in that cage for some reason. And then He, unfortunately, for the first time in a while, Oba just spews the same thing. He just says the same shit to him, calls him a coward, says, "You're running again," and tells him that, like, "Oh, you know, you're not locked in, you'll be locked in here with me." And it's like, okay, well, you just said that was the literal ending line last week. This is the build to SummerSlam, and this is your guys' last segment together. Not even interacting in any way. It was cringe. It was weird. And then my last thing that I want to talk about is that from this segment, which I really just don't like in general, that they used to bring out cops. Like, when I was a kid, cue the Donnell wrongs.
I don't even know if I can say this, and y'all gonna laugh at me.
I'm not gonna laugh at you.
I promise you we're not gonna laugh.
When I grew up, right, and I remember.
When I was a kid and WrestleMania 21 build, the Friday before WrestleMania, John Cena, you know, he vandalized the prior Friday. He vandalized JBL's limousine, and then on that Friday, they brawl, but it's because JBL is gonna put John Cena under arrest. It was believable that those were real cops because John was having a hard. First of all, there was a bunch of them, and John was having a hard time fighting all that off. People from the locker room helped John get arrested. It made us believe that those cops were real. They bring out cops for everything now. If they're in Boston, especially if they're in Boston or New York or somewhere where like the police force is like super revered, they bring them out immediately. And of course, it's not even the police force. It's other wrestlers acting as if they are the police force. So I just think it's just overplayed. Like, when they come out, we're supposed to be like, oh shit. Like, when the police came to take Jacob, like, I believed that because it had been a while. It felt like the last time they did that was Dirty Dom, when they arrested Dirty Dom. And I know that there's definitely been times that, you know, because it's been years. So there's been times where cops have been used scarcely through there. But I feel like in this past year, 2 years even, anytime it's super serious, very big deal, especially big guys who want to brawl and scrap, they have to bring in cops. And I'm like, why? I miss the locker room. That's what I want. I thought it was more believable and more like they hit a thing which they clearly are overusing. That's why I don't think they do it so much anymore with the producers. You know, Jamie coming out and Kenny coming out and Hurricane coming out. When they came out and then they would take finisher moves and everything, it was like, okay, these are the producers. The crowd, the adults know these are the producers, so that makes sense that the producers are coming out to stop them and be like, hey, chill. Adds to the story, even if you're a little kid. It's like, isn't he producer? You know, you hear your parents like, isn't he producer? Is Hurricane Helms? Yeah, watch out, there's a hurricane coming through. And then Hurricane Helms takes a DDT or an RKO, and then, you know, it just helps push that brawl to make it bigger. So I thought it was cooler back in the day when they'd be like empty in the locker room, all the extras would come out, and then there would just be a bunch of random superstars like holding everybody back, because it's not about what do they care. It's like the boss told them to. The boss told them to do that, and they're just like, oh, okay, I'll go stop a fight. That makes sense. I'm a big wrestler. I could do that, and we wouldn't be hurting the police force, which would in reality get people arrested. So stop trying to make me believe that cops are taking bumps and dudes aren't getting arrested. Just have other wrestlers who aren't doing anything come out and take bumps and try. Because for Oba to clear out that whole ring, and like for a few seconds they didn't even say anything, and I was like, yeah, because we all knew what was about to happen. Oba's locked in there with cops. He's just gonna beat up all the cops. Do something different. I'm not impressed with the cops anymore. So I don't even think the cops are going to do anything anyway, because they're just there to get beat up. Still, at the end of the day, it's very hard to destroy any build for Brock Oba. Like, it's still, if not the most anticipated match, like the top 3 most anticipated matches of SummerSlam. Will Brock retire? What's going to happen afterwards? We're all pretty sure Oba's going to get the nod for the rubber match, but who knows? So it's almost impossible to destroy the hype, but They damn near tried. They tried their best on Monday to destroy the hype for this match. Moving on, the rest of Monday night's riddled with, as they've been doing for the past 3 weeks on Friday and Monday, doing the history of Roman and Seth. And it's, what my thing about it is that, like, okay, cool, video packages that do that, and that's great that you are able to utilize video packages that do that. It's one of those, maybe it's just me, but for me, and maybe it's one of those old head things of like back in my day, but back in my day, like whatever happened to backstage segments, whatever happened to just like, I don't know, making small little things build up to the match. Like I have here, like use Becky to do something, have Seth have beef with Jacob for a bit for, you know, whatever, like, you know, Jacob's defending Roman, but like Jacob's been just doing whatever with I don't know, he's just been doing random shit. Like these video packages, I can watch those on YouTube. I want something to happen that's making the story more of substance, because there's a guy who made a video who literally, like, this is how we got specifically for Roman and Seth. Hey brother, you've never beaten me, let's run it back. Okay. And then they've just been running video packages ever since then. They had the cringe ass Saturday Night Main Event thing with Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson, and then they have this every other Monday where they actually meet face to face again to do a boring ass promo battle again, in which Seth beats up Roman again, because they're doing it too much now. Like every Monday, Seth got the better of Roman. Do you want me to believe that Roman's going to lose on Sunday? Do you really want me to believe that Roman's winning? It's clear. And if they're smart, they're going to push this into the Rock, but we'll see. Moving on. Vision vs. Alpha Academy. I suppose there was nothing wrong with this in general, but I just, I don't know. It definitely felt like filler, fluff, nothing. Once I'm watching the match, I'm just kind of like wondering, like, what does this do for anybody? You know, like, what does this push for the Vision? You know, if the Vision win this, what does this mean for them? And if the Alpha Academy win, I mean, I guess that makes them one step closer to... That's the only thing I saw from it. Everything else, I didn't quite understand why anything was happening at all. And Alpha Academy is such a great, strong combo of comedy and, like, action-packed wrestling. Like, they're one of the few tag teams that, like, no matter what they're doing, fans cheer a lot. Especially when Akira is out and rips the shirt and gets all hyped up. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves Otis. It's a perfect tag team. But for some reason, they lose, and then Otis takes a giant chair shot against the post, and they go off air with Vision just being like, let's go. Mind you, well, with Bronson just looking like he's just like going through the motions. He's just like, yeah, I guess it's all about Maxine and Austin Theory now, I guess. So it's just weird. And Logan over there, you're him, bro, you're him. Because he smashed Otis's head into the post with a chair. I'm like, tell me what you think, what that does, what that did, what that does. I couldn't figure it out. Lots of videos and video package and promos to like lead up to the SummerSlam. It's again what I said. I don't quite understand why we can't just do backstage segments, things that are like making it personal out into the world. Go film something out in the world to make it. You know, when I was watching Heels. And when you watch them film that promo in the gas station where these two dudes, you know, they film the little fight in the gas station that hypes up their match that they're going to have. Why not do stuff like that? AEW does creative stuff like that sometimes. We used to do so. Everybody remembers the infamous Booker T and Stone Cold brawling in the grocery store. Why don't we just do special things like that anymore? It doesn't have to be that specifically, but something more than just giving me a video package of them being like, Liv, let me tell you why you're going to lose. EO, you're the worst. I'm like, cool, man, awesome video package. I can watch that on YouTube. They could put that out on Twitter. But no, the good shit gets put out on Twitter. That's the shit that you find. Somebody like, yo, did you see that crazy thing they did? You're like, what? Oh, they put it out on Twitter. This is where we get into the weird segment. So it starts off great. It's all black. Joe Hendry hits the guitar. Everybody cheers. Spotlight on Joe Hendry. Yas. Okay. Who's here to join him? Danhausen. Okay. That's fine. They sing a You Are Cursed song. Right? And then just for them to get interrupted by, what's his name? Ryan Garcia. Yeah. And he beats the shit out of Joe Hendry. He breaks the guitar over Joe Hendry's back. And it's all to build for the Dom and Jade, like the Dom and Danhausen thing. So we did a big concert segment with one of Joe Hendry's worst songs, mind you, with Danhausen. Somehow they made a Joe Hendry Danhausen segment suck, and then they get Ryan Garcia to beat him up. That it was bar none the worst part of the night, and they should be embarrassed for that. And I do feel bad for Danhausen and Joe Hendry, where I'm sure they would be like, oh, we make the best of it, but that was tough to watch. That was not fun. That was where I was getting the text messages being like, what's on my screen right now? And I'm like, I wish I could tell you, man. I wish I could tell you what this means. Obviously, it's for the build to the JD, for the Dom and Danhausen, but it didn't build any interest for me. I didn't find that. I didn't go, whoa, Ryan Garcia's involved now? Man, I wonder if he's going to be there or not. Well, I gotta watch in case Ryan Garcia's there. We're going to end off Monday with the one thing they did right. They did one thing right Monday. Perfect. Raquel Rodriguez is now your women's intercontinental champion. Finally. What a match too, by the way. No surprise. Big Sexy's been putting on banger after banger ever since she's come back with this heel. I like to imagine she would I don't know. I think I heard her tell a story like this, but I'm probably tripping. But I like to imagine she put on those glasses and she was like, I figured it all out. That's it. This is it. I'm a whole new person now. I've got it. Guys, I'm at the top of my game. And she has been. And of course I think it's fair to give credit where credit's due to people. And I think obviously she's done all the work herself, but Kevin Nash being her mentor and her guide, he clearly is he's said himself and she has said, she's saying the advice. And obviously with the big advice starting with her to wrestle big and stop wrestling a certain way and wrestle big. And it was very translucent to her next match after that. We were like, oh yeah, she's wrestling completely different. And it's because of the advice she got from Kevin Nash. This IC title run, please do not blow this, because you should have Raquel running roughshod over everybody for the next few months, if not year. She should be safely holding that IC title. And even if it has to go back and forth a little bit, I want her in that title picture until she goes up into a big major title picture. Even the visual of it all, she gets busted open in the match. She gets busted open bad enough to where even the ref has to come wipe her face. She works that. The ref comes over and she's like, yeah. Wipe my face. Thank you. And then she shows it off, and she is the epitome. She is at the top of her game and probably only getting better. Her ability to work through the motions. She is a consummate professional, and it showed last night. And man, just it brought everybody to life. They were like, oh shit, because for a second, you're thinking it seems like it, but you're not too sure, and it's what everybody wants. And the rest of the Raw has been pretty fucking bad, so they're like, oh shit, Raquel won. Very excited, so happy for Raquel. Every fan is excited for Raquel. Let's see where we go with this. The night ends with more Roman Seth. I was thinking about it too. I was like, what's the night ending with? I was like, how did they not go off the air with this? This is the pop you would go off with. And instead they chose to do another long entrance battle between Roman and Seth. Another boring promo where they talk about literally the same thing. And it ends with literally Roman almost getting the better of Seth, where Seth literally gets the better of him at the end. And he just continues to say, and now he's embracing the I own your ass. Everybody knows I was like, yo, pause, Seth, what you talk about? And now he's owning that. I own your ass. I own your ass. And you're like, dude, okay, I guess whatever. And that's how it went off air. It went off air with a chair stomp by Seth to Roman, and he tells him he owns his ass, and that's it. Monday Night Raw over. Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam. Over. Yeah. Switching over to the blue brand. This week, for once, finally, blue brand. Psh, that's how you do an episode. That's how you do a go-home episode. Killed it. Crushed it. Beginning to end, really, really like this episode of SmackDown. Starts with Finn coming out. Here's a recipe. You want the show to start out good? Started with Finn. No more of this wrestling. I don't have my Cody tank top on, but I'm a Cody fan through and through. But you can't start each show. Every show doesn't start with Roman. We can't start each show with Cody. Starting off with Finn was a change of pace. I like that. And the what comes next is Finn coming out, talking about his past with SummerSlam, thinking about SummerSlam 2016, winning and losing the Universal title, and how much that meant to him, and how much he feels that this is going to be something different going forward, and how excited he is and how excited we all are. Very good, feel good promo for Finn and the fans to be like, yeah, this is exciting. I do remember that. I'm glad you remember that. I'm glad this continuity is still in there. We're not pretending like that didn't happen so long ago. 10 years is a good mark to put in for the story. Thumbs up. Good shit. Who comes out next? For the first time in a long time, I am not angry when I hear Sami Zayn's music come out. Because I know Sami Zayn about to come out on some bullshit, you know? And he does, you know, and he starts off with the, I've got something to get off my chest. He's hitting all the catchphrases. I'm the last good guy. This shouldn't be talking about Finn and what Finn did 10 years ago and what Finn deserves. We should be talking about justice for Sami. Because I pinned Cody Rhodes in that ring, fair and square. Now these are the type of... And I'm doing it. You hear me doing it, right? I'm doing the Sami thing. And I'm almost out of breath right now doing it. It hits different when it's not the same. And I'm gonna give all I've got to be the best that ever lived in that. And it's like, oh God, brother, please take a breath and sit down. But no, brother, take more gasps. Say more. Say more stuff. It's like a combination of conspiracy theory Sami, and like justice. I would call it justice for Sami, but obviously I think we're calling this Sami the last real good guy, and I love it. You know what, Finn? I'm going to let that slide and I'm going to walk away. You want to know why? You want to know? I wanted the crowd to say it with him so badly. You want to know why, Finn? Because I'm a good guy. I'm the last real good guy. I need that shirt. I need an I'm the last real good guy t-shirt. I'm the last real good guy. It's so great. It's heated. What happens is, so we're God, it's so good. It's so good. We're using this to build the Sami versus Finn #1 contender match for SummerSlam. It works perfectly. Then what do? They said, oh no, we're not done. We're not done cooking. Hold on, let me just flip the pancake in the pan, let it do a couple spins, catch it, and Gunther comes out, papa, and knocks them both over, right? He's fucking them both up. Why? Because Gunther still feels slighted. He still feels, even though he has this match with Aldis, he should be in that title picture. This is not fair. He's beating him up. Who comes out to stop him? The guy he's in a match with. He's like, oh, son, as Aldis keeps calling him, son, you must have forgotten who you fucking fighting, because it's me. And he gets in there, hits him with the Texas clover leaf, gets him in it real good, looks real good. It was, I mean, what a good spot for Nick Aldis right there. And for the build, they get him off of him. Aldis is still the good guy. That's usually a good guy thing. The interferers are usually able to get the good guy to stop doing what he's doing. And then, of course, Gunther takes advantage of that and just gives him one swift big boot. No big beatdown. Doesn't put him to sleep. One swift big boot. Perfect. Perfect. We've already seen Aldis get beat down. We hadn't seen Gunther get beat down. Also, you don't want to seem like one Texas Cloverleaf puts Gunther into the fucking shambles. Perfectly executed. I don't know who wrote that segment. This is me shaking your hand, good sir. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for writing that segment the way you did. Anyway, moving on. Next up is the Tiffany and Chelsea Green combo starting to build a little bit. They've got matching outfits finally. Love it. And Tiffany is, if anybody's watched her from NXT, I sense a little bit of NXT Tiffany, you know? The tweener, where she's the good guy. She's the U.S. champion. It's Tiffy time. But at the same time, like, the way she was treating Chelsea this whole time was heelish. Like, telling her that she's better than her, that she doesn't want to do that. And Chelsea regularly still trying to make it happen. And the first thing I notice is their combo move. They have a tag match against michin and bfab. And I noticed their combo move where they're going to get in the ring and they do a little dance where they hold each other's hands and they run around in circles and then they do back and forth, attacks on the ropes. It's small. It might seem silly. It's tag team wrestling. And it's better than them just being like, wow, they're a bunch of quirky white girls, right? Let's put them together. Like, how about it's because of the way that they mesh? And this is beautiful. Unfortunately, though, they did have to go up against the michin and bfab team, which has already been building for quite some time. And they do take the win. I do want to point out though that like I thought it was the crowd. I thought maybe it was like the way that the audio was playing with Jade's music. I was like, maybe Jade's music's way too loud. I just don't think that they're popping for Jade right now. And I'm not using this moment to shit on Jade. I think that that's the bookings problem, right? Like, I feel like, in a good way, I feel like we've been boosting michin and bfab as a tag team more than we've been boosting Jade. But what it ends up being for that night is it's a way to... I think what's obvious is that Charlotte's going to be the other woman in the ladder match on Sunday, right? They have the mystery person. Jade's in the match. Her and Jade have beef. I think that you put Charlotte in the match and that they both cost each other the title and therefore building for their match, which is what I want. This is exactly what I want for Jade. I've seen it time and time again for Charlotte with other people and with Charlotte when she pairs with certain people, and a build can happen. Even the Tiffany thing, people talk about the Tiffany thing and how good of friends that Charlotte's a different person now. Charlotte used that, built to become a better person, uses it now for storyline. And I think that her and Jade could really benefit from each other for working a program. So it doesn't even matter about the pop. It doesn't matter about any of that. I think that was a great way to build to something that was you can see the writing on the wall, but it's not too clear. It's all fade. You got to use a black light on it, The backstage segments and video packages on this episode were properly used. Not too overuse, but properly used. So there's a video package debut for Talla and Tama, where they are talking about it was the right move to leave solo. This was the way that they had to go. They need to make things right. They need things to change. And they debut a returning Haku. Haku returns to be the manager to Talla and Tama. I don't know if they have a name yet, but wow, what a great video package, and what a great debut. What a great surprise. And it's not for waste. Oftentimes we get video packages and we don't know what that necessarily means, when somebody's going to show up. But it leads into the Damian Priest R-Truth title for title against the War Raiders for their AAA tag team titles and the WWE SmackDown titles. A few things I wanted to point out was that my favorite parts about this were I have it written down for like the little mentions of things. One, R-Truth is wearing, and I know he normally wears jorts like John Cena. And he has for a while. He gave up the jeans a long time ago, and he wears the jorts. He was wearing the camo jorts, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was kind of like a John Cena throwback. Like John Cena used to wear those camo jorts all the time. I thought that was cool. And then in the build to this match between War Raiders and DP and Truth, he's been treating them like they're luchadors, and saying that, acting like you don't think we know how to be a luchador. And then of course he flies off the barricade, does a splash onto all of them, and Wade Barrett selling that home a little bit more by saying, R-Truth thinks he's an actual luchador out here. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, because the whole time he's been building that, and it's small. That's some of my favorite parts about wrestling. The match ends in a DQ though, as they can't stop fighting each other, and Charles Robinson took a mean push bump. Like, I mean, I saw he banged his head. So like he might have been selling a little bit, but that shit looked like Damian Priest. They both team takes turns pushing him out of the corner as he's trying to separate them. Damian Priest gives him a mean shove, and he bops his head up against the corner, up against the ground. Charles Robinson DQs, throws out the match, and it's over. Disappointing until that video package that we just watched comes into play. And maybe it's, I feel like WWE would take pride in something, take credit and be like, it's exactly what we were doing. And I was like, maybe all of the terrible video packages that don't have big payoffs right away was all to build for this, where like you do get a video package that gets a big payoff right away. I don't think that's something. I think that this one just actually hit, and they did the right thing by using it right away. Talla and Tama Tonga both come out to interrupt the brawl, not the match, but the brawl, and they beat everybody down. They beat both teams down, hold both titles, and who is there with them with a giant staff that looks sick as fuck? Haku. So right there, we have it all set. And I absolutely want Tama and Talla to destroy the tag division. I don't necessarily want them holding every single promotion division title, but them holding AAA for sure. I think they would crush down in AAA right now. but if they're going to be the SmackDown champions, just as good. Absolutely just as good. And that's how you do it. Few more things happen for SmackDown, one of which is the Trick Williams Baron Corbin promo battle, in which, god damn it, Trick is so good. Trick is so damn good. He went out there and he did what Trick does. He, flashy, stylish. He's got the, he's got the chant. He's got the swag. He's got the entrance. He comes out there saying what he says, Mr. Lemon Pepper Steppers. He's just masterful on that mic. But he said one word that's been all over the internet. He called Baron Corbin a grown-ass Tommy Pickles. It's all I see. It's all I see. He's just grown Tommy Pickles. And you could see Baron being like, fuck, motherfucker. You just had to say that, didn't you? Because you knew that would hit. And it did. I fuck with their promo battle, though. Because Baron Corbin, although not as effective as Trick's, he really hit and fans from 2008 to 2012 will really know what I mean about this. When they went PG, what it meant was that they really couldn't cuss. So they really, Randy Orton was masterful at this. I've talked about this before, where they just went really into detail what they would do to their opponent. And it kind of sucks sometimes because you're like, well, you're not actually going to do all that because you're not going to rip their skull out of their head. You're not going to do that. But they would just get really malicious and vicious with their words, what they were going to do. And that's what Corbin did. He kept it in a realistic way that it made it seem like he was actually going to do what he says he's going to do. And it was believable. He really put his heart into that promo. And it's not the fun, jokey, catchphrasey Trick Williams, but that's the balance. Baron's being no nonsense. And it kind of goes with his new music. I Bring the Pain. And I don't hate it. I kind of want to burn the ships. I don't know why we're not still burning the ships, but hey, the new music's okay. It's a new Baron Corbin. I say with that one, I don't know why that one doesn't hit me as much. You let me know if it hits you down in the comments, how you feel about that music change. But the match is set. The fight is set. The promos have been said. It's hyped. I'm ready. A correction from earlier, because we do have the last match of the night after the Rey Fenix and JD fight, which was the JD Rey Fenix match was obviously going to be a banger, right? Everybody was like, oh shit, they dropping a hot one right now. But it was unfortunately really just mostly used to yet again hype up the Dom and the Dom and Danhausen fight, and Minihausen's come out again. It was just to rinse and repeat that a little bit. And you know what's funny is that they're gonna use I guarantee people are gonna start being like, okay, I'm getting a little sick of the Minihausens and all that. I guarantee this PLE he does something even funnier, and we're gonna be like, God damn it, it's good again. It's good again. But the Lash Legend Giulia match was the last qualifier for the last woman in the ladder match. So Charlotte, I take that back. Charlotte will not be the guest. I apologize for the misdirect there, and not having my ducks in a row. Lash Legend is now the last qualifier. She beats Giulia in their match, which Lash gets new music. I didn't like that. It's just a spam of her catchphrases. It literally just says a bunch of the skirt, bougie bully, and just it just spams that as it says I think it has lyrics. If not, I mean, you can't really tell because it's spamming so many catchphrases in the background. But the match does start off in a unique way where Giulia kind of goes over for a over her shoulder submission where Lash catches her and uses that momentum to do the double dribble. So immediately you could tell, because it was almost maybe 10 minutes before the show ends at this point, and I was like, we still have to get the Cody Punk interaction. So you could tell they were kind of cut on time a little bit, but man, it was really good. It was a fast match, and I wish they would have gotten more time. And honestly, either one of them could have won. I would have been excited for them to be in the ladder match, but Lash Legend makes the most sense. She is the powerhouse now in that match next to Jade Cargill, and it does make it a little bit more exciting. Who's going to be this interim women's champion? And I hope it's not Jade Cargill. If it is, I can see them being like, okay, well, that's for Charlotte to do, but I don't think they need the title for that. So you let me know who you think is going to win in that ladder match. And then the night ends with the Cody Punk interaction. There's a teaser right before for it's like Cody. Again, they have to word these things better. They're talking about Cody's got a weird announcement, a surprise for Street Fighter. He's so in love with the character, and so it's and then it just shows him in the background and it or in the locker room, and he's got he's got a Street Fighter something. And it just kind of plays the music, and then he walks away, and it shows SummerSlam graphic. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to come out dressed out as Guile at SummerSlam. So they just did a promo. They wasted more time to let us know that when that could have just been a surprise at SummerSlam. Cody comes out to Kingdom, seemingly happy. He's like, hey, yeah, what's up, guys? All right. Yeah. Acting like he hasn't been mad this whole time with Punk. And then he gets down to do the whoa. One fist on the ground. Cult's personality. Punk comes out, and I love it. I'm like, this is good. Punk comes out, pats him on the head as he walks by. Not okay. Like, here's the thing. Those little things like that are so much more disrespectful nowadays. Like, it's interesting, right? Like, in the 90s and, like, the things that they would get upset about. But if you did shit like that in the 90s, they'd be like, oh, okay, pal. All right, buddy. You know, they wouldn't like it, but they are using it. I've seen people being like, this is the build, and it's, you know, CM Punk doing the flap to Cody and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, but there's been more since then. And they've been doing subtle jabs of disrespect that have gotten bigger and bigger over time. Which they do again, online for the Dark Show. They have a promo or a segment that happens between Cody and Punk in ring after their match where Cody elbows the fuck out of Punk, causes an accident, they get into a scrap. So, again, things of disrespect that get bigger and bigger. And that little sign of disrespect was huge. To pat him on the head like that, to sun him like that. You know, they both push each other out of the way with words to say their little catchphrases, because WWE's all catchphrases now. They both get their catchphrases and they get their stuff in. Basically just to say that they don't really want to talk anymore. They want to fucking scrap. And they do have a good scrap. Punk and Cody are some of like the top 5, top 10 guys who are really good at the brawl. It was funny because I had just watched a video of Mox and Punk in AEW when they were doing their scrap and brawl building up to their matches and how good that looked. And it looked really similar. So I really liked that. But that was the end of it, though. That was the end of the night. It kind of goes off air with that, which is, I would rather the brawl than one of them getting the better of the other. So from bell to bell to beginning to end, this had even the slower segment of JD, Ray, and not the match, but with Dom and Danhausen getting interfering with it. Even with that being like the slowest segment, it was infinitely better than the Danhausen, Joe Hendry, Ryan Garcia. There's something about Raw with Netflix, and I've been noticing this a lot. I'll go out saying this. When it comes to the differences in the shows, SmackDown's on USA, or if it's not on USA still, it's on an actual TV network. Netflix is a different network. And then you have NXT on CW, which is a different TV network. So everybody gets to play by similar and separate rules. So that is, you know, I think that's something that needs to be talked about more. And everybody's like, why was this one this way? You know, they have to answer to different people sometimes, you know, and Netflix is probably one of the harder people to answer. And they're definitely almost undoubtedly sitting alongside TKO being like, Ryan Garcia should be a part of this. Jelly Roll should be a part of this. It's unfortunate. And if you notice, you don't see it as much on Friday. I understand Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll were on the Friday stuff, but that was a different time and different story and a whole different thing entirely. We're just mostly blaming TKO. But I'm just trying to talk about how on a more regular basis, Netflix Raw has those instances where these things are happening, where it's like quirky segments that don't work right, feel forced, celebrity segments. And of course, Tuesday, NXT is the shining example of minimum to literally zero ads in the ring, all backstage segments and video promotions. It's the way it's supposed to work. So I would like for them to get away from Netflix. It's so funny how excited we all were for Netflix at this point. I would like for them to get away from Netflix and ESPN, please and thank you. Okay. Guys, that's the end of this episode. We went over Raw. We went over SmackDown. Enjoy SummerSlam this weekend. We'll talk about SummerSlam after the end of this weekend. So I'll see you guys around Tuesday for the NXT update. And I'll see you this week for some SummerSlam coverage and more Wrestle Talk. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.